Hello everyone, my name is Liviu and together with Nida and Ella we are gonna present our research. I hope you'll like our presentation and as you can see we added an intro to make it much more interesting for you viewers. So for now I'm gonna let you in Ella's and Nida's hands and I'm gonna come back to you in a few minutes to talk about the last points of this presentation. Grab some popcorn and pretend that this topic is interesting.
Our chosen research question was question number 3, which was whether students living in accommodation had a different student experience than the ones living at home. The reason why we felt it was important to find out is because most of the literature and research provided tells us different things. Some stated that students living at home perform better and have better experience. Other literature we read says that the ones living in accommodation have better chance of really engaging in student uni life. By finding the answer, it could explain why some students experience differences in their student experience by looking at how their living situation is. So what better way to find out than to actually ask students themselves? The way we did it is that we made 15 questions in which we handed out equally shared students living at home and accommodation. From the general research questions, we made up 2 main questions to help us find an answer. The first question was, what is the experience of students living in an accommodation? What are the benefits and drawbacks? And question number 2, how does the experience differ from students who live at home? The reason for doing this is that it allowed us to narrow the question, which on the other hand helped us to find out more accurate answer. Whenever doing research, it is important that your research questions are down to the point and helps shape it as a problem that needs to be solved. 1. The research questions helps us and the reader determine where and what kind of research the writer will be looking for. 2. Identifies the specific objectives that the study will address.
So for question number 3, describe 3 or 4 significant findings from the literature you have read that were most useful in helping you understand the context and background to the research. The first point is had a very little or no negative effects on student. The research found that living off campus had very little or no negative effects on student academic or school engagement. This helps us funding our research in more. This is by Jim Arbery. The next one is we found is that the effects of accommodation on grade points average. This study investigated the effects of accommodation on a grade point average by examining a sample of 1,248 students from the Office of Disability Services in the United States University. This research showed the significant influence that both test accommodation, especially extensions of time and modification of materials and course accommodation assignments and accommodation had on overall GPA. Students who live on a campus are more involved in a campus life, have a lower dropout rate. And the research shows that the various studies from US university reveal that the students who live on a campus are more involved in a campus life, have a lower dropout rate and perform at a higher academic level than off-campus students. Describe the main feature of your questionnaire and how you distributed it. The main features that we had for our questionnaire included introduction, open-ended question, closed question, scaled and like-it question. An appropriate order of question is of essential importance for obtaining quality of answers. A difficult question at the beginning of the questionnaire can discourage interviews from filling out the questionnaire, so we had started our questionnaire with the basic and easy questionnaire and overview of our topic, which makes reader to develop interest to complete the questionnaire. For our research, we have distributed the questionnaire to the people by hand, and also we have asked people via online.
So okay guys, I'm back, as you can hear. As Nida said previously, we chose the questionnaire for our research. The questionnaire is meant to show that our research is relevant, so we chose this type because we found that it is the best. For this questionnaire we have 16 questions in total, and 25 people agreed to answer this questionnaire. So because our research is meant to answer like two actual questions, two opinions, we chose to split those people into categories: students living in accommodation and students living at home. Before asking them to answer the questionnaire, we made sure that they represent one of the two categories, because we want to see how the people living in accommodation think and how those living at home think. So it is very important for us. It's a part of our research. We managed to retrieve 10 answers from people living in accommodation and 15 answers from people living at home. To make our research relevant, we chose to present the results of the 4 most relevant questions in our opinion. So we chose, out of 16 questions, we chose 4 questions, and we found that those 4 questions are relevant to our research, so that's why we want to go in detail and present them. Next, I'm gonna talk about the quantitative results. So the quantitative results is actually our questionnaire. So as you can see on the slide, here is our questionnaire with all 16 questions. Nida told you about what type of questions we chose. So you have in front of you the questionnaire. You can have a look and see all our questions, because we are gonna present only 4 of them. So this is for you to see that that's all our questions for this research. Next, it's the overall results of the questionnaire. So basically this is what students answered. So in on the left hand side, as you can see, it's the answers is the answers of the student living in accommodation, and on the right hand side is the student living at home. As you can see, we have 10 people that answer for the 10 people living in accommodation answered, and 15 from the ones that live at home. So here we have all the 16 questions and the answers. The answers is like, for the first question is like the first question was what's your age, what's your age, and 8 people answered the 18. They are in the interval of 18 22, and 2 people in the interval of 23, 25. The same thing for the other ones, and basically we have here we have the answers, and in the brackets you can see the number of people that answer like that. This is more of an overall result of the questionnaire, but as I said, we want to make sure that our research is relevant. So for that, we're gonna move to the first detailed question that we chose. This question sounds like that. Do you think students who live at home have a different view on overall satisfaction regarding the quality of lectures and tutorials to those in university accommodation? It's the same question for both. Like pie chart 1 is for the student living in accommodation, pie chart 2 is for the student living at home. For the students living in accommodation, it seems 60% answered yes, and 40% answered no. So 6 out of 10 people answered yes. Like they think that if you live home, they think that people living home have different view on the lectures and tutorials. And for students living at home, it's even more clear. 80%, so out of 15 people, 80% answer that indeed they think that living at home is like different. They have like an different view on the overall satisfaction regarding quality of lectures and tutorials. So in the conclusion, I will make the final statement, what that actually means for our research. But for now, I'm just going to present these results. For the next question that I'm gonna talk about is the question sounds like that. How would you rate the overall student life experience? This is an important question. That's why we chose to present the details on it. Students living in accommodation, chart 1 is for the student living in accommodation, and they answered that their overall student life experience is good 70% and very good 30%. As for the students living at home, chart 2, only 47% answer that they live good, they live fair, so not good, 30 like in the middle, 30% good, and only 20% very good. So from this we can see that indeed people living in accommodation find that their student life experience is like much it's better than the ones of overall student for the comparing with the student living at home. Also, we should mention that it is definitely that the student life experience for student living at home is not bad, but is not better than the one for students living in accommodation. So both are good, but for students living in accommodation it's better. Next question says that sounds like I spend most of my free time with people I have met through university or other student related areas. So this is also an important question to see if the student life is different for people, for different students. For student living in accommodation said like that they spend their free time very often or quite often with the university or other related areas. As for the student living at home, we can see that indeed there are some people that answered very often and quite often that they spend, but there are also some people that said like never or rarely. So from this we can see that people, some students living at home, indeed they tend not to have interaction with student life, but it's not that bad. We actually expected more students to have this uh, this less less experience that as for the eighth question, well, this sounds like this. I'm really satisfied with my academic performance. For this question, we can see that for the student living in accommodation, it's rather neutral, or they agree or strongly agree. As for the student living at home, it seems they are not that satisfied. We can see two answers that says strongly disagree, two answers that says disagree, 7 neutral, and only 4 agree. So this seems that students living at home, indeed they are not very satisfied with their academic performance. As for, we think that students living in accommodation actually perform better than students living at home. That's what these results says. The next findings, we tried to cover also the qualitative data, not only the quantitative, which is the questionnaire that we did. So we also tried to gather some qualitative data, even though it was not that relevant like the questionnaire, but we tried to like interview the people. It wasn't very easy because we had to like keep people and tell them to like speak, but while giving them the questionnaire, we also asked them some questions, and we tried to gather some additional information that we could, because it was kind of difficult to like keep the answer, and to answer that much time. As for the conclusion is that will sum everything up, like that will answer our actual research. After consulting our results, we came up with the conclusion that people living at home have less interaction with university life in comparison with those living in student accommodation. Both are satisfied with their student life, but people living in accommodation seem a bit more satisfied. In terms of academic performance, it seems people living in accommodation perform slightly better than people living at home. And finally, to respond our research question, both categories agree on the fact that people living at home indeed have a different view on overall satisfaction regarding tutorials and lectures than people living in accommodation. In conclusion, all these results show us that the fact that people living at home have a different view on university life, as well as less interaction with it, this leads to a less satisfaction for them towards university life, and also a poorer academic performance when comparing with the other category. So this means that our research was indeed fair and relevant, and like Ella and Nida said, and gather information about theoretical approaches of other people. We can agree with some of them. Some of them are really with our agree with our research, but some of them does not, and it's a good thing to know that our research is relevant. So I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you very much. I hope this was not very boring. Uh, you should excuse us for our difficulty in speaking freely, but it is kind of a stressful thing to do, and we all aren't native speakers, so we might have probably, or actually we are sure that we did some mistakes, but I hope you can get over them, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you very much, and I hope you are enjoying your holiday. See ya.